Guys, if you saw our last video of us setting it up, we just decided to reset it so we don't have to do everything. And
should we watch horror animated?
Yeah, horror animated stuff. And now listen, guys. We will be reacting. You'll hear sounds, but you guys will definitely hear us. Now look, we're just gonna watch horror stuff, and also, guys, once I finally figure it out, I am gonna be making Fortnite and Gorilla Tag videos. So make sure. I hope you guys enjoy that too. So yeah.
How about we watch
the Walmart one? Walmart.
The Walmart.
Up. That one, guys. You see that Walmart one? Go under. Guys, I hope you like this vid, EO.
Man, shut up, Ad. Nobody asked.
Literally, though. I hope you guys like this vid. Go check out his merch. His merch looks cool and stuff. But yeah. Okay. We're going to be quiet now, guys. The Homeless Horror Story 2. Narrated by Bound in the whatever.
Of course, having spent many of my years in the state of Florida, I've seen firsthand on several occasions why
the things about these horror stories are the scariest part. The way they make the horror people animated look and the way that they explain it. Their voice is the scariest part.
Yeah.
Life throws at you, you're never invincible.
Okay, guys, we're gonna be quiet now.
The power to shock you to your core. I mean, take me for example. I spent my years in the military, and I've spent my years on the streets, drifting between one rock and another hard place. But no matter what messed up stuff I have to see go down or deal with, I always bounce back. Well, almost always. Out of everything I've seen, only one thing made me lose my cool. And I think it was just the sheer unexpectedness of it. Just that I didn't think anything like it could ever happen in broad daylight in the middle of the city, but...
Alright guys, we're gonna pause for just a second.
He's probably gotta go to the bathroom.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a better pillow and I'm gonna get a spot and laying down.
Guys, also just so you know, today's my birthday party and I just wanted to say, please, congratulate me in, the comments.
Congratulate him on his birthday.
And if you know about axolotls, they're my favorite animal, and I'm getting one, and that makes me happy.
This happened. Everyone knows about it these days. It was a nice sunny day in Miami. I was making my way across town down the concrete mess of a highway, just to get out of that part of town I'd been in for the last few weeks. I'd never owned a car, so I was taking my bike down the shoulder, except I wasn't riding it. I hadn't been sleeping well, and the night before I didn't manage to catch any sleep at all. I was honestly too drowsy to pedal in a straight line, so I was literally just walking my bike down the shoulder of the road. There was a sidewalk next to me, but it was on the other side of a concrete barrier, like the ones they use to divide directions of traffic on freeways. I could have hopped it on foot, but not with my bike. I don't know exactly how I'd ended up sandwiched there between the cars and the concrete. But after what happened later, I'd take that way again for the alternative. The sun was getting high and bright. It was starting to hurt my eyes. I squinted ahead and saw that there was a bridge down the way. A nice wide overpass.
Oh, guys, sorry.
I started to quicken my pace, which felt pretty silly given that there were countless cars flying past me. But between the deafening whoosh of each vehicle passing, I kept thinking I was hearing something. Something that sounded like the shouts of a heated argument between drunk people.
What's wrong with you? It's going out, it's down.
That might not be something you'd expect to hear in the middle of the day in your town, but in Miami, it's more than common. But I couldn't help but think it sounded a little unusual. I figured that sleep deprivation was screwing with me. I pressed on, but as I got closer to the bridge, the shouting grew louder. It sounded more like screaming. But there was some other tone of it, like a growling, rabid dog. Every time I thought I was about to decipher it, a car would blow past me. Then...
Okay, guys. We're gonna do a theory of what that screaming is. So Kane's gonna go first.
Alright, my theory is okay, we each both get 2 theories.
Mhm.
So first theory, a drunk guy is like so drunk that he is trying to murder people. And my second theory is there's just like a drunk guy that's getting killed.
Okay, my theory is that it's probably like the killer in the story killing him, and he's probably gonna go up there and check, but nobody's gonna be there. Or it's the drunk dude just screaming for no reason because
He's
he's drunk.
probably gonna go up, since you brought it up that he's killing somebody. He's probably gonna like there's gonna be nobody, but there's gonna be like a dead body, and then he's gonna walk up to the dead body, and then he's just gonna strike right in the neck.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna go again.
Sound would change. By the time I got to the bridge, my curiosity was piqued. I could definitely tell where the noise was coming from. Straight ahead of me. Just a few more yards under the shade. I peeked over the edge of the barrier onto the sidewalk and saw 2 hairy pairs of men's legs sliding around together on the sidewalk. I instinctively darted my eyes away, not wanting to see much more above the thigh level. As experimenting people need to get a room. What are they thinking? Doing stuff like that on the side of the road in the beating sun? Well, obviously no one cares because no one's stopping. Just another day in Florida. I did my best to keep my eyes to myself as I passed under the shade. I was thankful for the break from the intense light, but beneath the underside of the road above, some strange sounds began to echo, forcing me in for another look. This wasn't an act of exhibition, but there were 2 messed up looking dudes lying naked on the concrete, and one of them was crouched over the other, tearing into a man's face with his teeth. There was blood gushing out and spilling onto the asphalt.
At that point, I'm getting on my bike and driving
And
away.
flesh from the
Yeah.
attacker's teeth
Yeah,
as he
probably.
looked up to notice me, just to scream like a feral zombie as he looked me dead in the eye. It was at that exact moment that I jumped onto my bike and pedaled off at top speed. All prior drowsiness was erased by the shock of
Sorry about my
adrenaline.
cough,
I
guys.
kept looking back to see if I was being ran down by that psycho. But luckily, he'd been content with scaring me off. I rolled down the first ramp that I got to and immediately went looking for a cop. I found one not even a block away, surrounded by several other very concerned-looking citizens. The police officer, however, seemed annoyed, but I was in a panic, and I
Sorry, guys.
See all on my own. I barged through all those people and got right up to the cop's face. There's a flippin' zombie on the frickin' pedestrian path. Up the ramp, just up that way. Come on, don't get hysterical with me, people. What do you mean by zombie?
There's a dude eating another dude's face off, man.
Finally, it seemed like something clicked in the cop's brain. He didn't say anything to us. He walked straight into his car, speaking something into his radio. Then he drove up the off-ramp, going the wrong way, out of sight. Me and those other civilians traded a few strange looks, all in an understandable loss for words. Some of them looked like avid bicyclists. Others just looked like people who'd come out of their cars. I wondered how long that thing had been going on with all those people. Then we heard the gunshots. 5 of them in quick succession. Everybody on the street stopped what they were doing, dumbfounded. In just a few minutes, more and more cops came, followed by an ambulance, and then the army of press. News van after news van drove up to broadcast the scoop, live on the scene, or whatever. I heard some office building captured the whole thing on their security cameras. It was the talk of the town for weeks. I'm sure the name Miami was heard all across the world alongside zombie attack, cannibal eats face off homeless man, Florida man gets wasted and eats face. I don't care for any of that. People who weren't there seem fascinated by it. But I know more than anything that I never want to see pictures of that horrible tragedy. Just from seeing it one time, I was shaken up for months. I still get hair standing up on the back of my neck whenever I pass under the bridge.
person who was riding his bike here off the MacArthur Causeway yesterday afternoon says he saw one man eating another man alive.
We're about to hear from the Miami man who had his face chewed off.
My face is all fantastic. My eyes got plucked out.
Had ignored the officer's orders to stop eating the other man's face.
The game is original.
That's crazy.
My style is
Sorry,
original.
Louise.
So why would I wear the same kicks as everybody else?
That guy must have been on drugs.
Elite performance, also
Yeah.
quality, and their sketches, baby. So you know they're the most comfortable people on the court. New sketches basketball.
That guy's on insane drugs. Like even like the taste of blood, like from like if my lips bleeding, like I can't take that without almost barfing. Literally. Guys, if you're watching this right now, well, you guys are probably not.
Out of
But,
every
like, sorry
day
about the
that I
ads.
have ever lived through, even with so many of them being so hard, there is one that stands out as the worst day of my entire life. It was my mother's 63rd birthday. The morning started just like any other. I helped my little girl get dressed and ready for school. It was supposed to be a big day for her. She'd been practicing for her school spelling bee for weeks, and today was the day. The two of us were about to walk out the door when my husband grabbed me on the shoulder and stopped us before the door. You can't let her go to school looking like that. She looks unkempt. What will people think when she's on stage? I was going to just accept that he was right and change our daughter into some different clothes, but my mother, who was living with us at the time, had a bit of a grudge against my husband, and she wouldn't have it. It was her birthday after all.
Who do you think you're talking to? If you make my granddaughter late for school on the day of her recital, you got another thing coming. Go, baby, get out of here. Don't let that oaf tell you what to do.
My husband looked a little dumbstruck by my mother's persistence.
Sorry, oh my
Remark.
God.
He was usually the head of the household, and he would always get his way. But ever since my mother
Look, you
retired
can't see
and
it.
started living with us, she had fought him for control over every little thing. I didn't want to be caught in the crossfire between the two of them on that day, so I just left like my mother told me to. I dropped my daughter off at school, then spent several hours running errands. Early in the afternoon, I got a call from my mother. For some reason, she was elated.
Today sure is a good day, dear. How's about you take your old lady out for some coffee and pastries for her birthday?
There wasn't really any way that I could say no. I might have married a controlling man, but I was born to an even more demanding and particular mother. So I put a hold on the grocery shopping I was about to do and met her at her favorite cafe in town, which was, of course, ridiculously overpriced and overrated. She ordered the most expensive things on the menu on my tab, then told me to take pictures of her holding them up to commemorate the occasion. When I asked for a bite, she said,
Oh, give it a rest, honey. I've done enough for you today. I deserve this to myself.
I was confused by what she meant, but I didn't bother to ask. I heard my phone go off from my purse, and I welcomed the distraction. I'd gotten a text from my sister-in-law asking where my mother was. I replied that she was at the coffee house with me, but I didn't get a reply. Instead, about 15 minutes later, the police pulled up. They marched inside with forlorn faces and told us to follow them to the police station, but they wouldn't tell us why. Now, I understand that they didn't want to make a
Theories.
scene
The mother
in the place
killed
of
the
business.
husband.
When we got to
Guys,
the
we're gonna have to
station,
make a part
we
2.
were met by
Trust
a
me.
man in a suit who
We're gonna make a
spoke
part
to
2
us
to this.
softly.
Yeah,
Hello,
okay,
ma'am.
pause it.
I have some very unfortunate